I'm going to just briefly mention the next round of funding. It is round 37. So this is the 37th year of this program. This funding will be released in July of 2023. The allocations for this round, the total allocation is just over $10 million. The LTIP grant is almost 2.2 million. The SCIP grant is almost 5.5. And then there's a decent amount of loan money that I need to try to stress the communities this year. We need to start using some of the loan money. So the District 6 Public Works Integrating Committee will meet on Tuesday, May 10th. That's this coming Tuesday for our annual meeting. It will be here at Eastgate at 9 a.m. It will also be on a WebEx access as well. Some of the items that we're going to discuss, the committee has to select a chairman and vice chairman for the upcoming year. We're going to discuss the calendar of all the meetings for this round. Most of those meetings come in the fall of this year. The scoring methodology for all the projects, the committee has to approve that, and it gets sent down to the director of the Public Works for her approval. I've been working on a new pre-application this year. The pre-application I've designed it matches the final application that the communities have to submit at OPWC. So they'll be able to just take the information from the pre-app and copy it into the final app. Should make everyone's life much easier, but that's something also that the committee has to agree on. Then we're going to talk about the workshop that will be in June. In that workshop, it depends on the approval of the calendar on the date of that one, but that workshop will focus a large part on the pre-application, and then probably have some discussion on the WorksWise portal. Once the committee, after the committee meets next week, I will start to upload all the updated files onto our website. See if I can show you real quick. I don't know if anybody's going to talk about our website is being updated. Under programs, regional planning, and then the Ohio Public Works Commission. Scroll down here, all these files, the methodology, the program manual, the pre-application, all that stuff will be updated within the next week or two. Some of the information, the median household income, I cannot get that from the state until after May 12th. As soon as I get that, that table and worksheet on there will be updated, but those will slowly be updated. And once they're all done, I'll send out an email to all my contacts telling them all the files are there, ready for use. Any questions on any of that? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, next, Kathy has some announcements on Eastgate's Appalachian Regional Commission program. Okay.
I'd like to begin by sharing some information with you on things that we're working on in the Eastgate Appalachian program. And let's start with some announcements. We have a really big one. I'm very pleased to say that last week I was able to attend the press conference with Governor DeWine at the People's Bank Theater in Marietta, Ohio. The governor announced his vision and his plan that he talked about it in his State of the State address, which is the investment in Appalachia. So not only did he make stops throughout Appalachia, Ohio, but the Lieutenant Governor, as well as the Director of Development, Lydia Mahalik, took a turn at different places to announce this. It is historic in the governor's proposal. $500 million will be allocated to the 32 county region of Appalachia, Ohio for investments in what we're calling 2 phases in 3 buckets. So the 2 phases is $50 million will be allocated in what we call our planning stage. It will be 1 year for communities to identify what projects they would like to see come forward. And then from that planning stage, $450 million will be allocated to implement those projects that are coming from the planning phase. Now, the 3 buckets are the priority areas that we're looking for projects to come from. And that would be restoring our historic downtowns. Second would be to improve our community's health. And third would be for rebuilding our local workforce. So this program is anticipated to be administered through the Governor's Office of Appalachia, Director John Kerry, in partnership with 4 local development districts. And as I mentioned, it is a plan, it is a proposal, it is not finalized at this time. We're certainly very excited about it, but our state legislature will have to approve it, and I'm sure they'll have some tweaks and revisions along the way. So as that information comes forward, I'll be glad to share it with the TAC. And as Ed mentioned, Eric is keeping our website fresh and up to date, so information will come there as well, and also with our email blast that we've been sending. So we'll get the information out to you as soon as possible. And the second announcement I have is regarding our pre-application period. I mentioned that last month. This is our competitive process, and we held our workshop on April 18th. There was 41 applicants who participated. Many of them have approached me about potential projects, so we have a lot of interest in the program this year. Looking forward to receiving those applications, which are due on May 16th at 3 p.m. We're doing the electronic submittal again. So please send those to me and I'll give a response so that it's confirmed. And I'd also like to mention that as you're developing your projects and putting your application together, Eastgate is always available for you to get feedback on your proposal. You're welcome to send that to us anytime up until the due date. And then the last announcement I have is regarding our 10th annual Appalachian State of the Region conference. It is held at Ohio University in partnership with the 4 local development districts. And this year we're focusing on models for revitalization. And we're doing it in person. So I know Athens is a long way, but we'd love to have you in person. If you're not able to do that, you can register and participate with us online. And then the 4 or 5 areas that we're going to be talking about is developing vibrant communities, affordable housing, broadband, tourism in rural Ohio, and collaboration models. Very pleased to say that our district will do. Oh my goodness, that's one spot. I thought I silenced it.
It's your nickel back too.
That must be Bruce. Easy.
Well, pardon me, I'm very sorry about this. That was not in the announcement. But anyway, we will have Tiffany Sokol, who is she's from the Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation, and she's going to be talking on the affordable housing. And then we also have Daniela Winchell from Ashtabula. She is the executive director for Ohio Wines, so they are going to be on McDonald's as well. And then what I have for you is a handout. It is what I call our Appalachian report card, and that is the return on investment report. It is a caption of what was accomplished with the 4 local development districts in partnership with our federal and state agencies and what projects moved forward in 2021. So to give you an idea, the Appalachian region is 13 states from New York to Mississippi, and in Ohio, the 32 counties are listed here for you, our 4 sister agencies. And then this is our report card on a page. We received $10 billion in federal and state funding, about 10.2. And then with that funding, we were able to put forward 44 projects within the 32 counties. They had a total project cost of about $74.9 million, and it provided assistance in creating about 809 jobs and retaining 366. What I like about this page, not only does it give you a year caption, but you can see what each local development has done, local development districts have done throughout the year. So here's Eastgate. We received about $1.6 million. And with that, we had 8 projects, very much in line with what our sister agencies did. And those projects had a total project cost of about $5.3 million, which you can kind of see at the bottom here. Okay. So, next slide. Also in the return on investment report, we highlight projects throughout the 4 districts. And regarding infrastructure, projects in the Eastgate district was the Trumbull County Commissioners, Yankee Lake Sewer improvement, as well as the Louisville Access Road. And then regarding workforce and education, 2 projects were selected from our region there. That is the Ashtabula is the leadership development project. And then also Flying High, they put forth a professional development center, and they're working with individuals as they maintain sobriety to move from work into the workforce. The last section of the report deals with agencies as a whole. Certainly the Eastgate does more than Appalachia. So it's a caption there of what our agency did, as well as our sister agencies. And what I'd like to do now is, what I'm giving you is an overview of what we did last year, but nobody does a map like Jeff Goldner has put together. So really good information, because when I talk to you at the TAC, you just get a brief caption. This is a mapping that Jeff has done. You can go on our website and get a lot of detailed information about our project. So Jeff, you can do this better than I can. So please welcome Jeff to help us out there.
Okay. Hey, everybody. How's it going? It just so worked out that I was already working on updating and putting together this map for Kathy right as her report was coming out. So it kind of went hand in hand perfectly. So this map is just a screenshot of all the projects that Eastgate has helped fund through ARC from 2014 to 2021. And set it up so at the bottom is a running tally of all the number of projects, the jobs created, retained, and then our slick little feature here is that when you zoom in to an area, it auto updates for just your view of your map. And it keeps moving and updating. As you zoom in, this project list thing down here will give you a list of all the projects that are in your current view. Zoom back out, this list populates all the way back up. You know what year you want. Pick one, you click on one, it highlights it, brings up all your information about that project. Also, there's a nice little filter here. So if you're only interested in Trumbull County projects, there you go. What they did in 2018, hey, we have one right there. You got right there that it was 250 grand. Sewer improvement. And that is the gist of it. I think it's a real helpful, fun way to see everything that ARC is doing for our area, and you can visualize the great area that we are covering now with all these projects. So it's on the website. It'll be on the website in the ARC section. give it a spin, and have fun with it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, so that's what we have for you today. If there are any questions regarding the announcements or return on investment report, I'm available. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. Okay, next Ken's up. He's going to discuss Eastgate State Fiscal Year 23 Unified Planning Work Program.
All right, thanks, Gary. Get a chance to make up for my debacle of last month's TAC that I tried to explain Stephen's program. So prepared to be amazed and dazzled with this. But anyway, this is the time of the year where we put together our work program for Eastgate. And again, our work program is our contract with ODOT, Federal Highway, FTA. And it is a lot of the stuff, well, it's actually all of the stuff that you guys hear on a monthly basis here at TAC. The complete document is available if anyone wants to look at it. It'll be up on our website. I've just gone ahead and put together just a summary of that here that I'm going to go over just briefly. Okay, that's maybe a little bit difficult to see from the back, but again, I have this. It'll be included on our website with the full document. There's also a resolution 7 for you today to ask for passage. And then it'll go to policy board on June 6th. So just to get in 601, these element numbers are just for ODOT and this is how we track and charge to, but under 601, that's our congestion management with Stephen. The corridor intersection pre and post that we look at from our CMAQ program that we do on a yearly basis. Brand's going to take over that before Luke was doing that for us. And by the way, Luke stopped in our office. I think it was a week ago, and he's doing very well. For those of you who know, Luke worked with us and he joined the Navy as an officer, and he's gone through training. But anyway, the next thing, again, the highway safety, where Grant and Ed bring up all of those details for you monthly. The bike and pedestrian safety will continue to emphasize that next year. As you know, we currently have a survey for our bike and pedestrian plan that we're working on this current fiscal year. So we're going to wrap that up here in June. 602 is our tip. Stephen will be up here a little bit later, so I'm not going to go much into that, but we'll continue to select develop projects and get them to construction, along with our transportation alternative program. And then product 3 there is our Smart 2 build grant ongoing. As you can see, if you drove down, Front Street's now closed, so they're knocking that out. Phelps, that section should open up here within 2 weeks, so that'll be done. So that's moving forward, and we look forward to our next grant opportunity. 605 is our surveillance. That's Jeff kind of takes over all that there. One thing again, traffic counting. I know Jeff and I talked a little bit about upcoming traffic counting season. I know you guys do a lot with OPWC. So as usual, get those into us and we'll take care of them for you. Pavement condition summary reports that Ed put together, independent variables. 60501, which is our GIS data collection. That kind of, again, that rolls under Jeff's guidance, but that's kind of where the that map that Jeff put up there falls under, and how we continue to work and improve that every day. The 60502 is our air quality program. You'll be hearing again, we're getting into air quality season, so the ads will come out. You'll see it on television. You'll hear it on the radio. That comes through Eastgate and through our CMAQ program, actually take an allocation of our CMAQ money and along with looking at different ways to improve CMAQ from a planning aspect, whether it's school bus idling or a lot of those intentions driven by Justin. Let's see, where am I? 606-1001 is our planning grant. Justin spoke last month about the projects that were submitted. We're going through the process of selecting those projects for our next round of funding. This upcoming fiscal year, are we doing it again? I forget, Justin.
For next year?
Yeah.
I don't know that we've decided that yet.
Okay, so we're still, depending on where our program ends up, we may fund a lot this time and take a year off from funding it if we feel that there's a lot of good projects that came in. So stay tuned for that. If anything, we'll just be revisiting that program, seeing if we need to make improvements or making them. 625 is service. That's kind of where our catch-all is. So if we have something that is outside of our specifically in this document, whether we go out and we talk to a local public official about the tip or about the bicycle pit, that's kind of where we cover that part of it. 677 is our ride share. It used to be ride share. It's now Go Ohio. It's statewide run. 670 again is highway. That's our census. We use that a lot for our long range plan development. The 674 is our transit. MRTA does that for us. That's working specifically with our transit agencies in the area. The transit exclusive is more for the entire tip development. The next one there is, did I jump it? Yes, see it here, 67401. That's specific to transit alone. So that's where MRTA gets into the more details of transit specific versus the other one that is included into the tip. 697 is our, what we like to say is our public outreach. This is where we look at, our social media, our website, our transportation, where we go out. And then there's 697, 01 and 02, and 01 again is just like you guys have to meet federal requirements. We have to do that also. So MRTA handles our Title VI and make sure that we're all in compliance with what we have to do. And then the 697-02 again covers us for our development of our work program as we move forward into the next fiscal year. That'll start July 1st of 2022 and end June 30th of 2020. So that's a brief interview or brief overview. Again, if this will be available on our website, but if you had questions before then, feel free to reach out to me. Any questions now? Okay, great.
Thanks, Ken. Next we got Steven. He'll follow up on Ken's discussion, hopefully fill in all the gaps from last month's discussion on the fiscal year 24 to 27 tip program development. Steven.
Thanks, Gary. Great job, Ken. I feel like we should all give him a round of applause.
That's how you bounce back. Just remember that.
A little bit more difficult when it gets dropped on you 30 minutes prior, thanks to the stomach flu. So I'm sure he did great. So what I got for you guys today is just to talk real quick about the resolution. Ken may or may not have touched on this a little bit last month. I'm not sure exactly what was said. It's mentioned on the agenda that this is for Transportation Improvement Program development for fiscal year 24 to 27. You'll see it's amending the 21 to 24 tip on the document here. Did it this way. Really what it is it was to develop the next tip. But you'll see if you look throughout this, there's a lot of early environmental work that needs to get done now, that needs to get in fiscal year 2023 to get these projects started. So it was kind of smoothest, easiest to show that it's amending the current tip, but really in practice, it's to develop the next one. So that's really all we have here. We were able to fit every application in our program successfully. It fills out the budget pretty well. We did assume a slight increase thanks to the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act. So that's in here. And even if there's a worst case scenario that it's, that doesn't come through as far as those increases to our program and our program allotments, we're still good. We'll still make it work. So that's what you guys see here. For the most part, as with always with our surface transportation block grant program, a lot of resurfacings. That's what's typically done here. You'll see some bridge replacements, some bridge rehab work as well. That's about it. If there's any questions, let me know now. Reach out to me if something looks off. If you are a sponsor for one of these projects, know that when you submitted these applications, I did my best to fit them in where you requested. Almost all of them are exactly where the sponsor asked. There's a few that shifted slightly, shifted dollar amount slightly, and a few that didn't necessarily specify years in their application. So if you're not happy with it, if that doesn't work for your program, I don't want to say too bad, but let me know, and we'll try to see how we can make that work. So if there's not any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me at any point.
I've just mentioned to follow up on that. If it's not in the year that you want it, or if it's in an outer year and you believe you can get it done sooner, by all means, you push to get it done sooner. Stephen, just an example, was it yesterday or today that we got the transfer, we went out, we contacted ODOT central office and said, hey, listen, we got $2 million of projects sitting on the table ready. Is there money out there? And within 2 days, we made a swap with Hellcats, I think, or so we made a swap with another MPO and got basically a project that was supposed to be done a year or two from now, done this spring, I believe. So as we continue to say, if you get it ready, we'll find the money for you. And that's been, right there is an example of how that's happened.
Right. So we always preach that, and that's great to bring up. There's about a $2.3 million loan. So if you assume our program, we're usually bringing in $6 million a year for the STPG program. We were able to do $8.3 million. And that's something that I kind of anticipate for the next handful of years. Really credit to our locals, credit to the sponsors for getting our projects through the system. Credit to District 4, obviously, for keeping up with all the environmental work and all the documents. We were able to stay on track through the pandemic and able to keep everything going. You see across the state, a lot of the other NPOs, a lot of the other communities really struggle. And that's where we're seeing, they have really large balances now that I think it's going to take a handful of years to catch up. So like Ken said, we always preach that. And, especially there's a few in here that are only asking for construction dollars. You can start your environmental work today. You can start your design today. You can get it done and ready to go. We'll find the money. We've always been able to. So not a promise, not a guarantee, but I'm pretty close to it. So thanks. That was good to bring up, Ken.
And that goes a long way with central office. When they look at the programs and they look at who's spending their money and who's not, that's a huge plus for Eastgate in our area that says, hey, we know who's spending their money when they get it. So.
Okay, thanks, Steve. No, that really is a testament to Eastgate and staff here, keeping the funding moving, and a testament to the LPA, especially the county engineers. How about?
Yeah.
One sister flow.
Yeah, because it doesn't help without the sponsor pushing it. Everybody has to push it. So if you wait, I don't have PE, no PE, but my construction's in 27, I'm gonna wait. Okay, well, but if you're aggressive, we'll be aggressive.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, next grant's going to discuss the pedestrian traffic counting program.
All right, hello everyone. Last year I talked about getting the pedestrian counters. I want to give a little bit of an update here really quickly. We have on our website is all the counts we've done are being shown. Going under, right now it says traffic control, it should be renamed back to traffic counts. Goes to Jeff's amazing traffic counting section, where he has the map. And then within the map up at the top, there's two tabs, which has a second tab for bike and pedestrian. Click on that. Brings it up and we'll show you all the counts that were done last year throughout this area. Each one of these counts is done usually over about an 8 to 10 day cycle. We're trying to get 1 week averages, do 8 days do the counts based off of a midnight to midnight. So it's no fluctuations based on day. It sometimes goes out to 10 just because we put counts out on a Friday. It's a Monday before I'm back out there to pick them up, but we still average a day. They get to average back out the first 7 days. Each one of these you can go in, like see, I'll tell you about, Park Avenue South Side, East Washington Boulevard. It was counted from 10th to 19th. And it's had 39 pedestrians, averaging 6 pedestrians a day. Drop into other locations. Start seeing some different types of numbers. We had, 196 average. So there's a lot of different data that's been put together. I'm trying to slowly spread out and hit different areas, trying to get some different road types. Trying to get sort of a good database, which hopefully we'll use also with Streetlight now to do a lot more calibration to adjust their numbers, try to help Streetlight fill in blanks where we can't do counts or we don't have time to do the counts. That said, also is, if you want any counts done, let me know. Reach out to me, find out what we can do, even if we can't do it in a specific area, just because there may not be a sign, post or something that we can put them on. At least try to get something in that area or figure out how to do something. The other cool thing is I also do a little like get put together that come out and they give you
Make waffle and berries, and then finish that.
Good.
it shows you the location of the map where it's at, and then it shows you actually like what the counts were for each day that was out there being counted. This one just shows the full range of days that were out there, not the average down, but I can also get the counts down. This is the report out for just the average 7 days. Also gives you totals at daily average, what the peak days were. Last year, we had a couple different communities to at least reach out. We got some stuff for data for safe routes to schools and some other applications that were put out. So yeah, if you have any interest in having anything counted, let me know. Get something put out. But here, people can get some more useful data out there. Any questions?
No, I'll just say this is filling a huge hole for us that we've had over the years where, we have these bike trails or pedestrian multi-use trails, but couldn't really get the information and how many people are using it and going out and getting a grant got a grant to purchase the counters specifically for this. So it's going to fill a huge hole in our planning efforts.
Okay, thank you, Grant. Okay, Stephanie has the next couple items here. First is the Warren 201 facility planning area amendment, and the Clean Ohio Round 17 discussion. Steph.
Morning, everyone. Just want to bring everyone up to speed with the Warren 201 facility planning area amendment. It was introduced last month for everybody to review on the TAC and CAB. Comments closed yesterday. I did not receive any comments, so therefore today in your packet, you'll see a resolution 005-2022 for passage. Essentially, this will allow Trumbull County to construct their package plant and also treat the western side of the Mahoney River in Leavittsburg there. So that will all be included in the Warren 201 facility planning area. The understanding between Warren and Trumbull County and the Ohio EPA is that once the city of Warren's wastewater treatment plant has additional capacity, then the package plant will turn into pump station, something of that sort, and then the waste will be diverted to Warren. So this is an area of concern with failing septic systems. It's in the consent decree, so it is an area that has needed sanitary sewer for a long time. So with that, moving into Clean Ohio, Following in the footsteps with Ed in the infrastructure side, Clean Ohio is going to be moving into its 17th year, which is exciting. I think I came to Eastgate probably in year 3, so it's been fun to both sit in the background and also be in the forefront to see this program and how it's morphed into a wonderful opportunity to either do stream restoration or to preserve and conserve additional green space or expand parks within the Mahoning and Trumbull County. So the 17th round will begin in July. Our allocation for the program here is $1,251,838. So that is for this program year, which is 2022 through 2023. Our total available funding that we have, and this includes our carryover from our last rounds and anything that has come into OPWC as far as our balance, is $2,984,646.75. So that will be the total amount available for this round. Just want to let everyone know that the NRAC has not established any district schedule dates yet. We're still working on updating our scoring methodology, which we hope to have that in place and sent down to Linda Bailiff, our director, for approval. But I do plan on holding a workshop at the end of July. So once we have the scoring methodology adopted and I go in and update our program manual and schedule, I'd like to have the workshop, which typically comes at the end of July. So more information will be coming once that gets established. One thing I do want to announce, there was an email blast that was sent out. Our District 6 NRAC is seeking nominations to fill 5 seats. June 13th is the deadline to receive the nomination form and the qualifications and letter from the person's supervising board. So specifically, we need 1 person from category 2, and I'm going to bring up Eastgate's website because we have it all listed there for usage. So under programs, environmental planning, Clean Ohio Conservation Fund, all the information that you need for Clean Ohio through our district is right here on Eastgate's website. This is in addition to when you submit through the portal. But here's your nomination form, our District 6 member list. So the nomination form is here, and it will ask you which category you are representing. So these are the 5 categories that are listed. We need to fill 1 from category 2, which is a conservation organization, an environmental advocacy organization, and so on. You can read, I don't want to read it verbatim. 1 from category 4, which is a statewide organization representing the ag and forestry interests, and 1 from category 5, which is an organization representing business, local realtors, or a planning agency. And then the last remaining 2 can be from any one of those categories. So anybody who fits item category 1 through 5, you are more than welcome to apply for an NRAC seat. This is a 3-year term. So we don't meet very often, maybe like 4 times a year, but I encourage anyone who is interested in serving on this NRAC to send in your applications and your forms that I mentioned that are on our website. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Justin, you ready? Okay, Justin's going to cover the next 2 agenda items, the fiscal year 23 planning grant. He's going to go on to discuss the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan update.
Thank you, Eric. All right, so another quick update on planning grant, like Ken mentioned last month. I presented just a quick summary of the applications we received for this funding round.
We opened the process up this year for our review of these projects. So instead of setting a scoring committee, we wanted to use the capacity within our TAC and our CAB to be able to provide comments and feedback to us for our consideration when we're scoring these projects and making the funding determination. So I have received a few comments so far. The comment period is open through today. So if you do have some thoughts that are still lingering, now is a great time, or, after the meeting, follow up with me. You can send an email, give me a phone call, stop in. However, but just another quick review of what we're looking at this year. For those of you in the room that covered it. But we had a total grant request of $79,524. Obviously, we make $30,000 available for this program, so there is an excess of requests. So unfortunately, all of these projects won't get funded, but they're all great contenders. So our internal review process will kind of shake out and figure out where this will fall out over the next couple of weeks. And again, I have these summaries here of these programs. I won't go through them. We have the recording from last month if you're interested. Also, all of these applications are available. They were on our website. We had a little bit of a hiccup. If you want to see the full application, send me an email. I'll make sure you get them so that you can take a look through them. But like I said, through the end of the day, get in touch with me if you have comments or feedback. Does anybody at this moment have anything that they'd like to mention about any of the applications that were submitted? Great. I will move on to our 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan update. So just a quick recap. The 2050 MTP is for Mahoning and Trumbull counties. It's our 20-year vision for the region's transportation future. So every 5 years, we have to go through this process, give it an update, and figure out what we're planning for onto that horizon. So it looks at all modes of transportation. It identifies priorities for projects and programs, as well as how the funding will be allocated. So as we move through this process, we're focusing on, of course, transportation, but also how that impacts quality of life with an equity component to it. So that rears its head through our environmental justice process, our Title VI. So all of this comes together in this foundational document. It's all based on our agency's vision. So striving for a collaborative region of equitable opportunity with a robust economy, healthy environment, and social capacity to support the creativity, diversity, and resilience of its people, places, and communities. And where we're at in the process right now is just preparing for our scenario planning. So this is a whole process where we engage our stakeholders, identify risks, opportunities, roles, responsibilities to help us make these decisions and get to that 2050 planning horizon. So as we kind of go through the scenario planning process, there's a few pieces of this. So data forecasting is one. So that's something, as Ken was talking about, kind of our census work in our variables. We're establishing our population and employment forecast out to the year 2050. From there, we move into developing context zones. So for those of you lucky enough to have joined us in person today, there's a special activity after the meeting wraps up. And, we kind of tricked you into showing up in person, and we're going to put you to work. So those of you through the camera, will get to you soon, so you didn't fully escape. But the context zone. So we're going to take a look at our entire region and figure out kind of land development patterns, our transportation network, environmental features, and economic development, how that all works together and forms these nodes and corridors that all interact in certain ways together, and really kind of establish the fabric of what our communities are. From there, we take the context zones and roll out our scenario development. So we figure out what our possible futures are in 2050. How many of those are there? What are the components of them? What are driving those changes? Those are all things that we're thinking through when we're coming up with these different scenarios. And lastly, as a part of the scenario planning, we'll hold workshops. So these are going to be in person. We'll have a virtual component as well. But these are our opportunity to engage with the public, all of our stakeholders, anybody that has a stake in our communities and in our region. has the opportunity to take a look at these scenarios and help us understand what we need to be paying attention to should any of these futures become reality. And that will help inform our future processes through this MTP development. That's going to roll into our MTP project solicitation, which you'll hear Stephen talk about in the coming months. So we're going to evaluate all the results of our scenario planning workshops and then open up solicitation in July. So you'll hear a TAP presentation then. That process will follow out through September. And at the same time, we'll continue our public engagement. So this is another opportunity for us to ask a different set of questions to the public, get them thinking about what their community should look like in the future, and really pull out the needs from what we're seeing from those comments and make that available to our local communities. So when they're thinking of their MTP projects that they're submitting to us, how do you address those needs through this project planning process? And then lastly on there, you'll see the final project list will be presented to the TAC and CAB in November, and then following up with policy board in December. That was really fast. And for those of you in the room again, please, if you have the time, stick around after the meeting. I'll run through a fun little exercise with you all. There's some maps on the tables out here. We've got some markers, sticky notes, and dots. We can mark all of this up, and I'll explain how that works after the meeting. But as far as the MTP goes, does anybody have any questions, thoughts, complaints, gripes, discussions?
I'll mention something. I just want to make it clear that, you know, this is probably one of the most important times for our member communities to take the time to participate in every part of this as we move forward, because of the new infrastructure bill, and mostly because of the majority of that funding is discretionary, meaning you are going to compete with the United States of America for a project in Mahoning County or Trumbull County. So as we develop it, we will look to, is it in our long range plan? They will look, whoever gets, you know, entrusted with doling out this money, their first ask is, well, is it in the, you know, your MPO's long range plan? So again, I can't stress enough that if you do the work and you think and move forward, that's just another checkbox. And we all know that these discretionary grants are about checking boxes. Does it check equity? Does it check the long range plan? Does it check this, check this, check this? So again, this is probably, not that it wasn't important in the past, but I think it's even more so now.
Thank you, Justin. Okay, now we're down to the executive director's report. Jim.
Thank you, Gary. I got to tell you, I'm taking notes, and I'm here every day, and I couldn't keep up today with everything going on. So credit again to the staff for pushing us forward and pushing the region forward by all the work we do. I was actually taking some notes of things really are outside of what Eastgate's, you know, core functions are. Many of these things are reaching outside. So again, credit to the staff and credit to the communities working with us. A couple of just notes I got to make. I love the aggressive approach chasing projects. Lauren could probably verify that from District 4 mentality. Just if there's money available, take it from the other MPOs, or back in ODOT, take it from the other districts, because funders want you to spend their money to build projects. So, another comment I make, what Bob and Gary talked about, how busy they are, and I think most people in this room love the orange barrels like I do. So orange barrels mean progress. So great stuff going on in our communities. And thanks for your leadership at the county level, for sure. I want to touch on a handful of just kind of odd items to just update everybody. We were fortunate, we heard just this week, the city of Youngstown received their EDA grant that they put in for Crab Creek. It's a 80-20 match, $100,000 total, but $80,000 commitment from EDA. A couple of weeks ago, I believe we heard on Trumbull Tourism getting there, so we're 2 for 2. We're hoping to hear good things. We still got 2 more out there. One is the Golden Triangle, and the other is the airport planning grant through the Port Authority. Those are still out there. We've been asked questions, and Mark and Joanne have been coordinating it with the sponsors. So it's good things. We haven't heard bad. So with them still hanging out there with EDA, asking questions and more specific refinements to the grant, we're hoping to hear good things on that in the very near future. Be good to hit on all four. Nice to have 2 for 2 so far. Wanted just to update, a couple weeks ago, we were fortunate to have ODOT out, Lauren, Deputy Director Jerry Rowe, and Chad came out, and we had an opportunity to tour some sites for bigger projects, really kind of having the eye on the prize of the infrastructure monies that might be available, track projects eventually down the road. What we did is we took a look at 80 and 304 possible interchange in the future that would connect to 62 and really connect into the east side of Youngstown, an area of our region that is just disconnected from the interstate. There's opportunities to give better access to underserved areas. When we had on St. Patrick's Day, we had Assistant Secretary of EDA from Washington out here, Alejandra Castilla. She was just amazed at the lack of connection to that underserved area of our community. So we're going to push for more monies when we take a look at what we can do over there. Work with ODOT possibly for an interchange justification study to provide that connectivity for that area also. Also would clearly spur economic development. So it's a long road ahead, but you can't start that road unless you start this planning process. So we're appreciative of ODOT riding with us there. We then kind of toured the 80 widening that's hasn't been done yet. See if that's a futuristic project, and then spent a little bit of time at 80 and 62 and looking at that interchange and seeing what could be done if we do an interchange modification study. Again, we took a look at that 4 projects really when it comes to interstates and involvement that ODOT may have with us in those projects. So more to come. Hopefully, I know that we're going to be looking for funding to get some of those studies off the ground and see if those studies can turn into real projects. We did submit April 14th. We submitted for a raise grant, the Live Zone 2, which is logistics innovation, vehicle electrification, and focuses on the area around the Lordstown area. I'm sure many of you have already heard about the grant. This is bigger than Lordstown. This is Warren. This is Niles. This is North Jackson. This is Youngstown. Supply chain companies looking to feed into Altium are looking all over our region. This opportunity to improve from a logistics standpoint and focus on vehicle electrification would really jumpstart some of the new initiatives that are being tested out there right now. There was a $25 million ask with the US DOT. This is our 3rd attempt to get this type of money. First time we've asked for this kind of money. But what really we have in our back pocket is a strategy developed from the Michael Baker team that was chosen to do the strategic plan for that area. So incorporated that strategy and then put a great grant application together. We actually, the last one we had before we had the strategy, got to a recommended stage of that grant for being approved. So we feel good about this. Of course, it's very competitive, right? We don't know the exact number. You can't get the details out, but usually 1,000 grants are submitted, and probably 10% of them are chosen. So, but we'll take our chances. We'll be working very diligently to advocate for that. We're going to attend the DC fly-in that's part of the Chamber's initiative in June, and we look to go and advocate for that project again in Washington, either in May or July, with announcement being soon as this summer. So our fingers are crossed, but really would be an impact to the region. We met with our consultant for a regional utility infrastructure assessment yesterday. Great findings, great direction of providing. They're supposed to roll out a draft summary of the report the end of May. And then we look to roll that out with our partners here in the communities sometime in June, and then put dot the I's across the T's and have that study ready for advancing into an implementation stage by the end of June, early July. So once we get the draft in hand, we're going to bring a group back together that it affects, like the community, and get more input and kind of show the direction we're going with that. But the findings and direction, intermediate steps to make us a better community, help us share services, share resources, and open our area up and be more user friendly. I want to say business friendly, because that's one of the reasons we got started on this, and make more stable rate structure for our water partners. More to come on that again by the end of the month. We should have something by next month. I do want to say that mapping in our website is outstanding. Website's in flux. We're just transitioning into the new website. I don't even know if we've been given full access to it. It's been a long time coming. Hats off to Eric and Lisa and Jeff and Justin have been working with the consultant to go. I think we're in month 6. I don't know of a 1-month project, but we're excited about where we're getting and more information. And I think really the challenge of that website is all the information that's on there. And then just being able to find it quicker for our members. So we're excited about that. I do want to say that we also, in the last month, were able to secure the contract with Emil Lazinski. He's our IIJA coordinator. He's a contract employee with Eastgate. We have for 18 months, we were able to use some ARP funding, ARC money that's become available to hire contractors to do this type of work. His effort will be to coordinate that IIJA law projects, funding opportunities for all the communities in our region. We're going to we have a strategy internally how we're taking it. We'll roll something out right at the next general policy meeting to make it easier for all our members. But our eye is on helping all our communities, aligning us to be first in line for any funding opportunities that come available, and then putting those grants together and making them the strongest grant we can to attract that kind of investment. That was at the recommendation of Director Marchbanks from ODOT when I met with him in December, then followed up with him in February. This is encouraging MPOs like us to have that type of expertise on staff. And we certainly have well-rounded staff and experts, but the knowledge of just knowing the ins and outs of the infrastructure law will be a great advantage to our group here and in our communities in our region. And I think that's all the projects I want to talk about. I do want to thank the individuals that came in person to our TAC today. We're trying to get back to more of an in-person meeting. I believe that the TAC is more successful when we have that communication. Everybody's heard me say the best time of a meeting is the 10 minutes before, the 10 minutes after. So I've been encouraging our members to come back to our in-person meetings. We'll continue until some point to have them as a WebEx call too. And I understand the pandemic and I understand everybody's own personal opinion. We're fine, but if you can, we'd like to have you back in here in person with us. Otherwise, WebEx just being part of the conversation and part of the discussion is a win too for everybody. So thanks for your time today. And again, thanks to the staff for outstanding report outs. Appreciate it. Thanks, Gary.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Okay, again, this month, general policy board resolutions for passage will be sent out for everybody to approve. So be watching for those and respond accordingly. Now I'm going to open it up for discussion. Anybody got any questions, comments, or discussion for the greater good of the committee? Okay, just a reminder, everybody's welcome to stay after, remain after the adjournment for a brief exercise with Justin for the MTB.
He's looking at the door.
And they shut the elevator off. Okay, and then also a reminder, the next TAC meeting is going to be July 7th. No meeting coming up in June.
That'll be our general policy board. It'll be June 6th, I think, the first Monday. So.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion. Second.
Good.
Okay, all those in
Thank you.
favor? Opposed? See everybody in July. Yep.
Get to go.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Thank you.